I think it was a partial success, or it was a success in part. And you're right to ask me then, was it a failure in parts? And indeed it was. So it was, football parlance, it was a bit of a score draw. There are lots of things that are unresolved. There are lots of things that were done well initially, but they kept on changing what it was about. Went in to oust the Taliban, which was supporting Al-Qaeda. Bin Laden was there. He was the top of the tree with Al-Qaeda, which certainly was responsible for 9/11. And it's then what you did. And they were working out what they were going to do, quite sensibly, and they got completely distracted by Iraq. And then, even since then, it went through several wars, and at least one or two of those wars are still going on.
Well, exactly. John Stephen has sent a message saying, no, it wasn't worth it for the amount of men and women who lost their lives. Just for the oil fields, John says. 453.
What oil fields?
Well, that's his opinion. 453 British men and women died, not to mention the tens of thousands of Afghans who died. And still, we have fighting going on elsewhere in the world, and we're being asked whether we should be the world's policeman once again.
I'm not sure it's as clear as that, and I think that is it worth it? And it's really the 140 characters of a tweet that we're really trying to see the whole world in. The great thing now in military circles in Whitehall, you hear too complicated, reduce it to a tweet or a sheet of paper. It is much more complicated than that. I am worried that the forces, but above all the politicians and the diplomats, are not learning the lessons because they're saying, enough intervention, editor, it's all over, we won't do that again. And we're completely unprepared for real crises that are on our horizon, and there are even more now that we can see beyond it. I mean, who is worried about Yemen now? Yemen is collapsing. There's a big Yemeni population in this country. It's very important. You can't just ignore this stuff. It is complicated, but you can't just park Afghanistan and what it stands for in the too difficult box.
Well, briefly, Robert, the fields that are a problem in Afghanistan are the poppy fields. They supply most of the world's opium, and that was the drug war that just hasn't been won.
Have you seen them? They look fantastic, I must say, from the air. They're simply amazing. And that is the thing, that the stats recently double the value. It's doubled its value, that crop, in 2 years. 350,000 families plus, sorry, these are statistics etched on my brain, are involved in this trade. And that is a real problem. And that is an enduring problem because it could spell collapse, not only for Afghanistan, but a whole region, and a whole region which is very closely related to this country.